Hey everyone, welcome back to Cracking the GRE Math Subject Test. This is Calculus 1. We're on the third question, and this question is a little bit tricky because you can make a mistake here pretty easily, but I think it's not so bad if you draw a picture, so I'll show you how to do that. We're given that this x in brackets is the greatest integer less than or equal to function. Some people call it the floor function. I'll show you what it means. Just let's give it a little reminder here. If this is x and this is y, then if we write 1, 2, 3, and then -1, -2, then this function, what it does, at each integer, it just gives you that integer. So, for example, at 1, the value is 1. It's just right here, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. So at 1, it's going to be 1. At 2, it's going to be 2. At 3, it's going to be 3. But at any number between integers, it's always going to drop you down to the greatest integer that's less than that integer. So, for example, at 0.5, it's going to be 0, and at 1.5, it's going to be 1. So this is what the floor function looks like. At every x less than between 0 and 1, not including 1, it's going to be 0. And then we're going to have 1, 2, and so on. So that's what it looks like for the positive integers, and for the negative integers, it's similar. Let's say at -1, we're going to have -1, and it's going to be -1 up until 0, but not including 0. Same thing for -2. So that's what the function looks like. You can call it a step function or a floor function. So now, if we want to figure out this limit, or this expression, we can, one way to do it is just to pick a number, and see what comes out. For example, let's say n is equal to, if n is a positive integer, so let's say n equals 3. Okay, well, let's see. Absolute value of n is 3. So here we have, let's do the right side first. If this expression, limit, as x approaches 3 from the left, remember the minus sign on the right of the 3 means approaching from the left, of the absolute value of x minus this floor function. Okay, well, what do we get here? The absolute value of 3, that's just going to be 3. We know that the absolute value function is continuous, so the limit is just going to be the value of the function. So this gives us 3. Now the floor function is going to give us 2, because you can see from the picture that as you approach 3 from the left, the values are all going to be 2. So this part is going to be 2. So we get 3 minus 2, which is equal to 1. And actually that's going to be the case no matter what n we choose. It's not specific to 3. Even if we chose n equals 2, then we would see that 2 minus 1 is going to be 1. Now let's look at the other expression, the limit as x approaches -n. So in our case, it'll be -3 from the left. Okay, well, what do we get? Of the absolute value of x minus the floor function of x. Well, again, the absolute value of x, that's a continuous function, so that's just going to be -3. What's the floor going to be? Well, Here, I'll draw it here. So this is going to be, so we can see as we approach -3 from the left, I didn't write it here. If we extend our graph a little bit, let me move this over. Okay, so we've got -3. So if we extend our graph, this is going to be, yeah, the floor function of -3 is -3, and then up until -3, we're going to have -4. Okay. Well, so as we approach -3 from the left, all the values of the floor function are going to be -4. So that means that the limit is also going to be -4. So we can write here minus -4. Well, -3 minus -4, that's like -3. Sorry, the absolute value of -3 is +3. So 3 minus -4, that's 3 plus 4, so that comes out to be 7. So now what do we get? We're supposed to take this expression and subtract this expression. So 7 minus 1 is 6. Which of these answers will give us 6? E, 2 times 3. Okay, that's one way to solve this problem. The other way is to actually write out in terms of n what the values of each of these expressions is. And, well, here it's the second expression is always going to be 1. We figured that out. The expression on the left, we found that it's actually going to be n minus, and then here we have, this is always going to be 1 less than -n. So this is like -n minus 1. So yeah, n plus n plus 1. That's like 2n plus 1, which is the same as 7 when you have n equals 3. And then we're subtracting this one right here. So yeah, the answer is always going to be 2n.